I've never been to Cuba. I've never seen Cuba, but I am considered a Cuban. 40 years ago, my grandparents, along with thousands of other people, fled Cuba after the rise of Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro and the revolution landed in Cuba in 1956. For 2 years, they traveled through the Sierra Maestra Mountains, fighting the Cuban army. On New Year's Day in 1959, the Cuban president fled, and Castro won. Cuba truly became contested with the arrival of Fidel Castro, the island's most controversial leader. Castro was responsible for many improvements in Cuba. Castro implemented changes in education, healthcare, and reduced unemployment. However, Castro's social reforms also included censored press, rationed food, the imprisonment of Catholic priests, and mass executions of counter-revolutionaries. It was after these changes that people began to leave Cuba for a new life in Miami. Some Cubans returned from exile in an attempt to overthrow the new government. Cuba found itself on the world stage soon after. Castro declared Cuba a communist country, which only heated the Cold War. Che Guevara became a hero in Cuba after the revolution. Che was Fidel's right-hand man and was praised around the world. Che Guevara has since become a global icon for revolution. But there was a flip side to Che and the entire revolution. Fidel and Che oversaw the executions of numerous Cubans, while countless Cubans died attempting to escape. Within the revolution-controlled courts, the trials were biased in favor of the revolution, and the defendants had very little say. While Cuba was the wealthiest nation in Latin America during Batista's rule, the common man suffered. Tourism and the nightlife flourished in Havana, but poverty was common among the rest of Cuba. Batista was extremely corrupt, accepting bribes and giving casinos and nightclubs tax exemptions. But in the process of the revolution, what did the common man in Cuba really want to see changed? The common man wanted social reform, not political overhaul, since many were disgusted by Batista's corruption. Cubans wanted less American corporate involvement, but they didn't want the nationalization of companies. At the time of the revolution, U.S. sugar companies owned most of the land in Cuba. Cubans wanted a return to the 1940 Constitution, which Batista got rid of, but they didn't want communism. In the end, Cubans got the reforms they wanted, and a lot more that they did not expect. 1 million Cubans have left Cuba since 1959. Most of them live in a part of Miami called Little Havana. My grandpa chose a different route and moved into Mexico, where he met my grandma. They moved to America and soon established quite a large family. My grandpa taught his children about Cuba so that we would always remember our heritage.